5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah.
Oh, we have 8. All right, very good. Then I would like to call the meeting to order. Sarah, would you read the roll, please?
Yes. Rex Owens,
Here.
Mary Bell,
Here.
April Brazier Rasa, is that correct?
Yeah, yep, that's fine. This is April. Here.
All right. Mark Chin?
Yep.
Emily Lindsay?
Here.
Sandy Patelli?
Here.
Teresa Stevens?
Here.
Rohith Vaija?
Here.
Ken Wenzel?
Here.
Oh, there he is. Okay, good. Thank you. Approval of the minutes from April 8th. Did anyone have any changes, additions, or deletions to the minutes?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, the budget report. Sarah.
Okay, so the budget reports were in Friday's packet. I don't really have anything out of the ordinary to report on those. You might have seen in the librarian report that we had the most titles ordered in April since November 2019. So we're very busy with all of that on the financial end and the processing, and also ordering lots of supplies in anticipation of reopening. And then the bills this month were $959.25.
Okay, anyone?
Move approval of the budget report.
Thank you.
Seconded.
All right, thank you. Anyone have any questions about the budget report? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Then we need a motion to approve the expenditures also. That was the
So moved.
$959.25.
Emily moved, I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All those in approve say aye.
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 Citizen appearances, I don't believe we have any. Right, business of the board president. Well, I'm very thrilled that we are going to have a welcome session tonight. And what I would like to do is have everyone on the board take a few minutes to introduce themselves to all the new members. 2 of our new members are here. April is here and Emily is here. And we hope to see Darren next month. His appointment actually starts next month, technically. So I will start and then we can go from there. My name is Rex Owens. I'm the president of the board. And I've been on the board since 2016. And in addition to this board, I'm the president of the Dane County Library Board. And I have a radio program that I do at the Media Center twice a month called My World and Welcome to It. And I'm also the discussion leader for one of the book clubs here at the library. So I managed to keep busy. And right now I am speaking to you from hot, sunny Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh.
80 degrees here today.
Oh, nice.
And my wife and I were out hiking in the mountains this morning. I even have a picture that I shared with Swetha earlier because I was touting my accomplishment, if you will, and then collapsed for the rest of the afternoon, but I'm great. Okay, Mary.
Hi, I'm Mary Bell. I am a retired teacher and I have been in Sun Prairie for 10 years now. It was 10 years this winter. I managed to keep myself busy with all kinds of things, including the library board, a couple of book clubs that I, it's in the pandemic, have been keeping on Zoom. So we've continued to meet, and a lot of worthy causes that I have invested time and board time in. And those are mostly around worker justice.
Thank you. All right, Ken. I should note that this is Ken's last meeting on the library board.
Yes.
So, Ken, still
I
tell us
will
about
be-
yourself.
ending my third term, 9 years, I guess it is already. And it's time for some changes for me to go off and for the board to have some new blood. I felt that way maybe the last year. But anyway, I'm a retired hospital chaplain. I was a pediatric chaplain at UW Hospital for 10 years and then I worked with a private group, and I still work for a private group a little bit by writing articles about chaplain work. And I'm just a woodworker, and like to thank the library for their gift and for the flowers and for the cards that they sent. And prayerfully, you guys got a lot of work ahead of you, I know. So hopefully it goes well and works well.
Thank you, Ken. We're going to miss you. We really are. You work very hard on the policy committee. And I'll get to stating a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Mark, tell us about yourself, please.
Sure. Mark Chin. First of all, Ken, I'm missing you already. So thank you for your service. I've been a resident of Sun Prairie for since 2012, advisor with Edward Jones, and I'm on the finance committee. Welcome.
Teresa.
Hello, I'm Teresa Stevens. I am an alder for District 2, and I am entering my second year on the library board. I'm really excited. I got to keep my appointment. We have a lot of work to do, and I'm really excited to dig into this. So thrilled to be here. And I got to claim the #1 first person back into the library when it reopened on Monday morning at 9 a.m. So
Wow.
there was no confetti, but
Do you get prize, Teresa? Do you get prize? Shweta, is there a early bird prize or
I
maybe I
don't
can?
know. I just get to brag about
It
it.
could be a race now.
That's it.
Yeah, did you camp out overnight?
No, but I did show up 15 minutes early. It was like,
Oh,
I was expecting a big group of people, and it was myself, someone else that I knew with her 2 children, and then another person who was coming in to talk about kind of bouncing back from COVID and all of these great programs that are out there. So
Yeah, one of our project recovery counselors. was out there with you, Yeah.
who was really great to chat with in those 10 minutes of standing outside.
Yeah. No, we had no door prizes. I will say it was delightfully uneventful.
It was quiet. It was just
True
lovely.
librarian's view.
Just really amazing to be back. So I'm happy we are open again.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Teresa. Sandy.
I'm Sandy Patelli. I'm the school district liaison. I'm an elementary school librarian at Horizon Elementary School, and I serve on the policy committee and the strategic planning committee. And welcome to both of you.
Rohit.
good afternoon and good evening. Sorry, it's probably evening. Yeah, still back-to-back meetings. So, my name is Rohit Vaidya. I have been a resident of Sun Prairie since 2016, and it's been a delight to work with this wonderful group. Sorry, Ken, I was unable to write a note for you, but all best wishes for you. It's fun to work with you, and maybe we'll bump into each other when I'm at the library next time. So I'm on strategic committee, and thank you, Sandy, for helping me out. And because I was not knowing what should I be doing that was my first meeting. So thanks, Sandy, and I'm with the Rex, help me, which other committee I'm on with, probably with Mark. So finance committee, I'm sorry.
Good. All right. Thank you. So our new members, April, would you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is April Brazier. I have actually been a resident of Sun Prairie since 1992. I am originally actually from Dubuque, Iowa, and my mom accepted a position, so we relocated to Sun Prairie, and I graduated from Sun Prairie High School attended Whitewater, and I work as a software systems analyst for UW Health. I do Epic software for UW Health. And so I've been at UW Health about 13 and a half years in my position doing, doing Epic software. I got involved in the library committee purely by chance because I went to high school with Mayor Esser's son, and he thought that I would be a good addition to the board. You can't tell over Zoom, but I'm a person of short stature. I stand 3'1", and so I have some unique perspectives for accessibility and other programs that I think would be a great thing for the library. And so I have some unique experiences there. And yeah, Mayor Esser called me up and said, April, would you consider this? And I was like, I might. And so here I am. So I'm excited to be here.
All right, thank you, April.
Welcome.
Emily, welcome, and a return of Emily to the board.
Thank you. Thank you, Rex. I'm Emily Lindsay. I'm a former alder for District 1 here in Sun Prairie. And by day, I work as the budget section chief at the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. And I've lived in Sun Prairie since 2014. And I apologize if you hear my 2-year-old in the background. She's not having a best night. So I know Sandy can relate. Our little babies are about the same age. So anyways, I'm very happy to be back. So thank you.
Thank you. Staff, Swetha.
I think we might have missed Mary. Did
No,
you?
Mike?
No.
Good. Okay. Sure. Well, nice to see everyone, and nice to see you officially, April. April and I had a really nice conversation about the library and her skills and perspective, and it's great to meet you, even though it's via Zoom. And nice to see you again, Emily. And I've been the director of the Sun Prairie Public Library since July 2015, and have been a resident of Sun Prairie since 2016. I don't do much else besides library stuff. I read and I cook for fun. So, Sarah Michaelis is who you receive a lot of emails from, and I would love for Sarah to introduce herself.
Jeff
Hi. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm the administrative and project librarian at the library. And yeah, I'm here taking minutes for all the meetings, and I also do the financials. So you'll hear from me with that stuff, get the checks ready and all of that. Yeah, I've been at the library for 5 years. So
Don't forget the dream bus.
Too.
oh yeah. Yeah, and I'm the project manager for the Dream Bus in Sun Prairie. So yeah.
Good. And for everyone else here, some of you know them because we talked to them last month. But we have 2 staff members from South Central. Sean, would you like to introduce yourself?
May I have your attention, please? The time now is 5:45, and the library will be.
I like that introduction. Thanks, Shweta. Hello, everyone, especially to April and Emily. I am Sean Brummer, and I'm the Youth Services and Community Engagement Consultant at the South Central Library System. And I do a lot of work with library directors and boards in developing strategic plans of service, as well as inclusive services work with my colleague, Mark, who I'll pass the baton to now.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Yoakum. I am the Workforce Development Specialist at South Central Library System, but I also do inclusive services work along with my colleague Sean. And we're really excited to be here tonight and continue our discussion. So thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, moving right along, I would, under the order of the president, like to take a minute to reflect a bit on Ken Wenzel and the service he has provided. Since the time that I have been on the board, and that's since 2016, Ken is the first person to have completed his full 9-year term. And I always think it's astounding that when people agree to work with the library, they really are taking on a very long-term commitment. And I'm convinced that it's that type of continuity on the board that gives it the strength that it has. And Ken certainly represents that for us. Ken has served as the policy committee chair for a number of years, and he was part of the process that recruited Swetha when she was hired after Tracy Harold left us for the Dane County Library Board. And if I recall, Ken, that was quite a lengthy process.
I think so. Mhm.
Also, Ken has advocated for the library at our committee of the whole meetings and our city council meetings. And he's participated in the library architectural analysis and expansion studies we did several years ago. And he's the recipient of the Dale Davis Award for Innovation for his idea to bring the Dream Bus to the library on Sundays. So Ken, thank you, thank you, thank you. We will miss you. Anytime you want to come back to visit, you're always welcome.
Okay, all right. Mhm.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
All right. Swetha, Library Director's Report.
Yes, I'm going to share my screen just for fun.
Is there some video coming up, Shweta?
It's not going to be a video. It'll just be.
Yeah, she recorded Teresa coming into the library on Monday.
Can everyone see that? Great. Well, this just highlights our week, which was our phase 2 reopening our walkthrough model. One of our library assistants decorated our exhibit case with hearts flowing out of a book. And I think it really shares the sentiment that almost every single person had walking in. They just loved being able to come in. As Sarah mentioned, staff worked really hard in selecting new buzz books, processing them, and all the behind the scenes work that goes with processing. And there is a patron checking out all the new buzz books. So that was willing to share her photo with me. So I just wanted to share that and show you that in real time. So the reopening's been going really well. In fact, I was dying to get some statistics, and I finally today we had a 1-day statistic from Monday showed that we checked out 2,005 materials.
Whoa.
That is compared to May 3rd, which was also a Monday, of 467. So it's pretty exciting. Yes. So we're really excited about that. Yeah, other than that, you have your librarian reports, nothing to report. Our proposals for the schematic design are due next week. So I'm excited and looking forward to getting those. And the HVAC upgrade will go through the RFP process, and it may qualify for the American Relief Program, but that's to be determined. If not, it would just come out of our budget.
Good. Any questions over Swetha's report or the written reports that we got from the rest of the team?
No, just a comment that I was there on Monday to check my books out and do some browsing, and the staff, even behind their masks, you could tell they were smiling and happy that people were coming in, and it was delightful. It was just delightful.
You were one of those 2,005 checkouts.
I was a couple of those, yes.
So was I. On Monday, one of my books that had been on hold came in, had put it on hold about a year ago, and it finally came through on Monday. And so Tuesday I went and picked it up. So
very good. Very good. All right. Thank you. committee reports. The Facilities Committee. If you recall, Ginger Byer was the chair of the Facilities Committee, and now Ginger has moved away from the city of Sun Prairie. And we're very fortunate that Teresa Stevens has a profession that fits perfectly with the Facilities Committee. And she and I have talked, and I would like to not wait until June to make an appointment, because we do have the bids for the schematic design coming up this month. And I would like to propose that Teresa Stevens be named as the chair of that committee. Anyone have
I
a
motion.
comment or question about it? Mark?
No, I motion to accept Teresa.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Then in addition, I would like to put Teresa to work right away and make her our representative on the committee that will be reviewing the bids for the for the schematic design.
Happy to.
Anyone have any objections to that? I don't think I need a motion for that. Okay. Finance Committee, Mark, I don't believe the Finance Committee has met.
Nope.
Okay.
I think we were going to use this month in lieu of a finance committee meeting for Mark to just share if there's anything to share with the board at today's board meeting.
Can we bypass that to next month? I was not aware of this. I apologize. I saw something on the notes about the money market, but I need to get more details as to what you're expecting. And also, I think we're going to propose just give an update to the foundation board this month. That meeting hasn't happened yet. So after that, I'll have something to share.
Sounds good. We'll pencil you in for next month. No problem.
Beth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Personnel Committee. Mary.
We've not met. Our meeting will be in July. So when we make appointments in June, we'll be getting that meeting set so that we can have a mid-year conversation with Shweta.
Okay. The Policy Committee has not met. But for everyone else on the board, we will be looking for a new chair for the Policy Committee. So think about it, and I will be in touch with people between now and the June meeting.
I think the next policy meeting is set for July.
Okay. Thank you, Ken. It's in your blood, Ken. You just can't probably not go. The Strategic Planning Committee, Sandy and/or Swetha?
Sure. I just wanted to wait until our announcement cleared. And Sandy, feel free to jump in anytime, but the committee met, was it last week? Just last week, and we'll meet again the first week of June. Although Sandy and I and Melissa McWillens from Wills met separately this week to wrap a few things up so that we could present it to the committee in June, and then we'll have a report to the board next month.
Good. Thank you for keeping that moving along. Thank you for filling in, Sandy. Appreciate it. Friends, Ken, did the Friends have a meeting?
No.
They meet Monday.
This coming Monday. All right.
Coming Monday. Their biggest focus right now is the bookstore, the Red Before bookstore. They're working really hard in getting that ready, and they're anticipating a June opening. But they don't have a specific date yet.
Swetha, will you be at that meeting?
I will.
Just let them know that I'm off the board now.
I will.
Are they looking at a date in June yet, Swetha?
They've been talking about June 2nd, but they're not sure if that will be too soon. So that would be the soonest.
Okay, good. The foundation met last month, and they adopted a timeline for both recruiting a brand new full-time executive director and hiring a firm to do a feasibility study and to be consultants to the foundation for the capital campaign. Their timeline to replace the executive director is they would like to hire someone in the July-August timeframe, allow a month for the new person and the current person to overlap, because Allison is also moving away from Sun Prairie. Allison Long, the current executive director. So that's the first objective. The second is to use some sort of process to determine who to hire to be the firm to do a feasibility study and act as guides for the capital campaign. And they're looking at having some sort of a process start in July, make a decision in August, and again, try to hire the firm by September. Looking to initiate the silent portion of the capital campaign sometime probably early to late next spring. So that in a nutshell is what they're working on. And that's quite a load, to be very honest with you. They're also conducting some training sessions with all of the current foundation members and still recruiting. So if you know of anyone who has an interest in serving the foundation, you can let me know, you can let Swetha know, or Tracy Harold know. That would be good. Any questions about the foundation? Okay. Unfinished business. Presentation of the DPI Inclusive Services Toolkit. Sean and Mark. I like the graphics, by the way.
Those were Sean's creations, and she did a great job with them. So, yep. Hello everyone. Today we're going to be continuing our discussion of the guide and of a survey that was sent out to the board on between April 16th and 30th. We had received 7 responses, including and one from the board and one from Shweta. Tonight we're going to be talking about the survey and prioritizing a few items for the EDI committee that is going to be forming, and hopefully setting up some kind of an outline for a time frame. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my video and share my screen. Let's see. So let me get that going. All right. To begin this discussion and sort of just to set the scene for the new board members, this survey was sent out, like I said, on the 16th of April, and it covered the first section of the Wisconsin Inclusive Services Assessment and Guide for public libraries, or for Wisconsin public libraries. And that section had to do with the board. And in your board packet for tonight, you should have received the graphics and the slides for the survey results. And I'd like to start off today by asking folks if there are any themes or survey results that you'd like to point out, or what's struck you. Sean will be taking notes, and you can also enter your responses in the chat as well. But I'd like to open that discussion up.
Can I begin?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Hop
Well,
right in.
I think that in looking at the responses, particularly you called our attention to those that needed more information, those purple, unsure, unclear kind of things. I think what I felt, at least when I was answering the questions in that regard, and I didn't do too many of them that way, is that we're looking now with a particular lens, and we need to be careful about how confident we are that we've been looking through that lens all along. We tend to be very, I think, practical about, well, does this policy fit what we need to do? Does this procedure match up with where we need to go? And although now we're focusing specifically on being inclusive, we haven't always seen them that way as we were going through them. And that's the good part about the fact that the library board consistently reviews those practices and policies. So I think that we can go at them, I think, more clearly with that as a particular focus now that we have this new way, or the new inclusive, new wider look at why we do what we do.
Certainly. Other reactions or things that stuck out to folks?
I think the report shows a general consensus, if you will, of a need to perhaps start with our bylaws, since they're so concrete, and maybe, and I was just pleased to see that there seemed to be a consensus. At least I thought so. Other people might have a different view.
Sure.
I noticed that we have a lot of things in progress. So I think that's also a good thing for this group to recognize that while some of us might feel we're there, others know that we're still working on, hashing out some minor details perhaps. And I take comfort in knowing that we're not perfect. We're still working on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, progress is good. It's a good direction to take. All right. I wanted to take the time to also really show that there's a lot of strengths to recognize in this board. A lot of things that are happening that are just fantastic to see. And on the left column, you'll see where this was a 100% everyone agreed, and it was meant, I believe Mary and Rex had mentioned that this is that you regularly review policies and you look for to see if they are causing trouble spots in service to the public. And so that's definitely something that's really really struck out to Sean and I. And you also, this is a board that when you review and find something that you update the policies. It's not just rehashing or recycling them. It's really really great to see. And from what I can see, is that inclusion and inclusive services is definitely a priority for this board. You've shown this is definitely something that is really you've invested in, and that's fantastic. I mean, you have you're actively recruiting diverse board members, board membership, and you have the backing of a city council and a mayor, it sounds like. So so that's all wonderful to see. And in addition to the value statement and that center inclusion and community. So these are really, really awesome. Sean, on the next slide is going to go over a couple of topics that we identified as well. And so I'm just gonna hand it over.
Sure. Thanks, Mark. And Rex, you already started us off on this conversation. The thing that stood out for Mark and me in what are some potential first steps, or what are some things that can happen right now, really revolve around the policies and especially the bylaws of the board. And we thought, what better time than now? You have new board members coming on board. We're at the very beginning of this work, as well as updating your library's strategic plan for the board to take a look at the bylaws and to look at the bylaws through the lens of equity and inclusion. And so there's no surprise that we just pulled out the data from the questions that looked at bylaws, which is this slide, is the need for diversity among library board directors communicated to the municipal body. We already talked about that, but it's something that you want to continue to do as you recruit new members of your board. As well as, Mark, could we go to the next slide? And I don't know why it looks that way.
Whoops. Did I go too far? Let's see.
If we could go to slide 22. And then, oh, I'm sorry, the next one, 23.
There we are.
There we are. So this is a slide, and this is a question that piqued our interest. It shows that as a group, as a board, as a governing community, that you are aware that we have bylaws and that they need to be regularly updated. So some of you said that it is in progress, and others said that you need more information about how to address the bylaws and make sure that equity and inclusivity is included in your bylaws. So Rex, thanks for pointing that out, because that was one place where Mark and I thought we could start as well. Any questions about that? Okay. All right, and now Mark has on the screen slides 7 and 12, which really looks at issues of access in terms of language and how all community members can understand and access and know about the bylaws of the board. And we thought this was perfectly fitting too. So the questions here were about the languages that the bylaws were available in, including ASL and Braille. That's on the left-hand column, as well as policies and bylaws being available in languages that are read, that are spoken at home by the community, by your community. So this really goes hand in hand with being transparent in your bylaws, being transparent in your governing policies. And we think that this is a really great place and great way to start.
Mm-hmm.
By looking at your bylaws and by your policies. And we know that your policies chair is leaving. So this would be some good work for a new policies subcommittee to take a look at, perhaps in partnership with the to be formed DEI committee. So for our next steps, we, and Mark, was this you? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I can.
This was,
Sure.
I apologize. I apologize for jumping in.
No, that's fine. So as we look to addressing areas that that folks had identified, we'd really love to know where where people would like to focus the work on, and this could be as indicated by the survey, or it can be areas such as the consideration statements, which made up the survey, or even the open-ended responses towards the bottom of the survey. So I'd like to open the floor to that, and Sean will take some notes. And so,
Or what type of clarification would you
sure.
like?
So I'll jump in because I think I was one of those, I need more information on one of those columns. And it was because I hadn't read them in the last 6 months, but I know that we have passed amendments and was not really comfortable answering definitively as to yes, we have done it, or it's a work in progress. Not being on that committee, I'm not entirely sure what they're also discussing or what might be coming up for review. So I, for some of that, it was just not real comfortable with a defining answer.
Right. And so that could be really taking a deep dive into the bylaws. Could that be something that the DEI?
I will take personal responsibility for that and do that. I don't know how much the board needs to do that, but
Sure.
yeah, I just feel like that's something I should do, and that's some of my homework.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of history. The last few times we've amended the bylaws in the last few years has been specifically to make structural changes in the board. We added a facilities committee recently and made those changes, and we added the DEI committee and made those changes. And my recollection is that we weren't even aware of this lens when we did that. Or at least I'll confess, I didn't have that lens on. I was looking at the structure of the board and the tasks we have ahead of us and how structurally were we going to address that. Because I think boards are much more efficient when the work gets done at the committee level and then reviewed at the board level. And that's a consistent method of operation that we've used at least since I've been president. So at least from my perspective, that's why, again, the bylaws stuck out, because I don't think we use that lens. I don't think we know.
Right. Right.
Yeah, in terms of policies, Ken knows more about this than I, but I've served on the policy committee. We do review all the policies on a section by section, issue by issue, and I think issues of inclusivity and expanding access to the library is one of the things that the staff uses when they look at those policies and make recommendations to us. But just to have this particular lens as one of the things we examine every time we open a committee meeting and look at those policies and reasons that we would give the board for making any changes in those, or recommend to staff that they look at making changes in those and bringing them back to us. I think that's certainly doable, and it would be something that we could handle through the regular course of that committee.
Right. Yep.
Through the policy committee, you mean?
Right.
Right. Okay. I just want to make sure I understood that.
Okay. Well, it's wonderful that you mentioned that seeing bylaws and policies through a lens. That's really where we're a lens of inclusion and equity is really where we're looking to go, because it isn't a checklist, and so it sounds as though that would be a really great place to start in the committees and then move into the board. Okay.
I do have a quick question.
Hmm.
Um, when it comes to the inclusion and exclusion, how much of a priority has this been in the past with, I guess, other library boards or library committees? And has there been any complaints about exclusion when it comes to like our policies and procedures?
I can take that question. Thanks, Mark. So I've helped a lot of libraries in the past 4, 5 years create strategic plans. And within the strategic planning process, when we talk to community members, equity, inclusion, and providing safe and welcoming places are always the main themes that come up. Library patrons, community members want to feel safe, want to be safe, and want to know that they will be just completely welcomed and accepted at the public library. What I have found is when I help libraries write these phrases, like fundamentally focus our service on equity, inclusion, and diversity, that it is overall accepted by community members. I have never had the experience of anyone questioning why library policies are viewed and are highlighted through a lens and through a microphone of equity and inclusion. I think that this also very much matches what your own library staff has identified as core principles that they believe in providing service to the public. When we went back to the core principles or the staff principles, this is a staff that very much supports and believes in all of these concepts.
Hmm.
Just speaking from the policy committee experience I have, very often that's the rationale we get at the committee level when we're looking at a change, is that we are looking to make sure that the library is more welcoming and less disciplinary than it is invitational, to using the resources that everyone is a part of in this community. It may not always get translated to the board as a whole, and that's something that we need to be aware of as we present policy changes.
Sure.
Yeah, we've eliminated a lot of roadblock policies over the years, and probably maybe there's more to go yet. I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay. And there are a number of ways that that SCLS can help support your work and the subcommittee's work. One of the examples that stuck out to me was like such as question number 4: are bylaws available in languages used by the community, including ASL and Braille, if necessary? And for an example of how SCLS may support your work, it could be we could help supply the data for languages spoken by the community, and we can also help assist with locating services. And these are all things that that we can do in working with the DEI committee. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
We will not forget you as a resource, Mark. Trust me.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna move on to the next slide. And um, um, I'll take notes. Sean, do you want to lead this?
Sure thing. So we know that this is a board that has already done a lot of its homework. We have new members coming on, so Emily and April will make sure that you have access to the accessibility guide that we've been referring to. I just realized that you probably don't know what we're talking about, so we'll make sure that Shweta gets that to you. This is a board that has a lot on its plate. And it is a board that is really proactive. So we would really like to start talking about the actions and what a potential timeline needs to be or should be. And it all is up to you. It's your work, and we will be here to support you as you do the work as best fits your needs and your time schedule, because we know you've got, the facilities are coming up and other things. But we want to make sure that we keep going with the momentum that we have right now for this work. So what I'm hearing is that we have two committees that already could look at the bylaws and the policies. That we have a bylaw. Are your bylaws and policies committees separate committees? I'm sorry, or did I misinterpret that?
No, we don't have a bylaws committee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So policies committee would look over bylaws.
Yes.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. So my proposal is let's have that bylaws committee take a look at what is it that your bylaws say and identify places where you could provide some edits if you think you need to. I have not looked at the bylaws, so I don't know. I have a feeling that they're in really good shape, but this would be the time to have that committee take a look at the bylaws, at the policies, and identify any edits that you would like to make.
Actually, you're segueing right into the next item under unfinished business, which is consideration, discussion, and
Okay.
possible action on the appointments to the DEI committee and a time frame. I agree with the substance of what you're saying, and initially it might be a joint effort, but my thought was that the DEI committee, this would be one of their first assignments, and maybe the appropriate way to do it, Marion, you can let me know what you think, would be to do it with policy.
I think that would be fine. So we certainly can do that. What do you
Mark
think,
and
Understand we don't have, we have on paper a DEI committee.
Right.
Our bylaws say we have one, but we don't have appointments yet. And I'm one of those guys that I put a goal out there in a timeline and then work backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And my hope is that we could have appointments to the committee made by September with the idea of having them have their first meeting perhaps in October. And maybe maybe it would start with the joint committee meeting with policy. Maybe it wouldn't. I'm open to how that ought to work, but I'm just throwing that out as a suggestion on the table. And at this point, I've done moderate research and have 3 potential people to ask to serve on the committee, but I've not talked to anyone yet because I want to have full board support before we go down that path.
I was wondering, Rex, it's a good suggestion. You have September, but we are already in May. Does the group thinks should we go a little bit more aggressive on this rather than waiting all the way till September? Because pretty soon it will be October.